Howdy folks, we're here. My name is Faith. We're going to do a video on questions that my lovely followers have asked me, and also a little bit on Self-Harm Awareness Day, which was today, and I think that's a great topic to start on. So we're going to tell you about my bracelet I made last night. Orange for self-harm awareness, and yellow for suicide awareness, basically I made last night by braiding 3 embroidery flosses 3 times, so that I had 3 strands of braided embroidery floss, and then I braid them all together. So essentially 3 braids braided together, and there it is. I bet I could do it again, and if I did 3 of these together, that would be really good. That would be so cool. And I like how it is. I don't like those other ones very particularly well, but I kind of tied it messily, and I'll get better at it as I go. I'll try and make more. And then, so now we're going to start answering questions from my lovely followers. The first one was Pedestrian Apocalypse, the lovely Lady Sky. And she said that I should talk about the different motivations for self-harm. And there are 2 that I had the most experience with, which was the taking the pain from the inside and putting it on the outside. Which the rationalization of this is that if you hurt on the inside, then you should put it on the outside, because then you can bandage it, you can put ointment on a burn, you can splint up a broken, sprained ankle, whatever. You can fix it on the outside. There's things you can do. So, but on the inside, it just sits there and festers unless you talk about it, and most self-harmers don't want to talk about it. So it festers until they just release it in however they can. And the other way is that they become so completely numb that they need some way to feel. And if pain is the only way they can feel, then that's better than nothing at all. And those are just the 2 main ways I've had the most experiences. I know there are countless other ways, such as hurting yourself because you hate yourself so much, or because you hate your body, or because somebody else has hurt you before and you feel like you deserve it. None of those ways are really good ways. No, there's never a good enough reason to hurt yourself. There's always people to talk to, there's always help, and it's just going to cause more damage over time. And there are people like me who care. And that leads to the next question, which is, how do you help your friends through it if you don't know what to do? And there's really nothing you can do except for be there. And that sounds cliche, but mostly what I see is that you can't just think that you're being there. You have to be like, hey dude, I'm here for you, or I will always listen to you. I don't know exactly what you're going through, but I will listen to you. And you have to not just say it once and think that they always remember, is that they will tell themselves that they didn't really mean it, they don't really care about me, and they won't ever go to you unless you say it more than once, which sounds hard, and it is, and it may or may not be worth it to you, but if it is, then do. Just be like, I'm here for you, I can talk to you, I can listen, and just go with your gut feeling. And if you feel like you need to tell an adult, or not an adult, but like anybody else besides that can help them, then do. Because if you feel like that they're going to hurt themselves farther than they should, then tell somebody. And basically that's what you have to do, is you have to be there for somebody, and be aware that sometimes then they won't talk to you, but that's not your fault. And you're just the greatest person ever for being there. And you really are. So let's get off that to a lighter topic. How about tea? My favorite tea, yes, my Pedestrian Apocalypse as well, is this. It is called Plantation Mint. It looks like mint, does it not? It is green, but it's not. On the back, the first ingredient is black tea. Isn't that sweet? That's why it's my favorite, is because it's black and it's mint, both my favorite flavors. Plus, it totally smells like mint, so you can totally be like, I'm drinking mint tea, no caffeine here, but there really is. I'm just awesome like that. So then, we're going to go with Passionate Nostrils. By the way, you guys all have the greatest URLs ever. And they asked, who's a fictional character that means a lot to you, / has somehow made any difference in your life, / how you see things. And I've got to say, it's essentially a book, and it's essentially this one, Inkheart. There's a lot of things that have impacted me, but recently I've been reading this again, and I've just realized how much it really did. And you don't really think, like, I was like 12 when I read this, and I identified with Maggie, and I was such a bookworm, and I would just read everything, and I just loved everything, and I was thoroughly convinced that, that dragonflies were fairies in disguise, and that if I found a rock that had been hollowed out by the water, I could see gnomes and dwarves, and all these fantastical things, and I was just enthralled in Fantasyland, and this book was just that, and you could read, it's about reading it out of the page, and I desperately tried to read it so I could get these characters out and meet Maggie, but I obviously couldn't, and, but that, I just never really realized until I started reading it recently that I really was so changed by it. So many things I did, like hide 3 Harry Potter books underneath my mattress, and just sleep on them. I didn't realize that I was from this, and just various things I did. I didn't realize this is where I got them, but these books I read when I was a child that I'm kind of remembering, and I'm just like, those were the greatest books, not because they were really that great, but because I read them at the time that I believed every word, and I was just so engrossed, and I was just those memories, and I'm reading it now, and it's definitely not like so many other books you could just say that those are well written, good books, but this is good, because every child should read a book like this and be so entranced by it like I was. Anyway, that's just recently I've been reading it again, and I didn't realize how much I had been affected by it, and I just love it a lot. Next, we're going to go to I Dream of San Francisco, and that is an excellent URL as well, because San Francisco is a pretty freaking awesome city, just gotta say. And she asked, what's on my bucket list? And I tried to find that stupid notebook I put it in, but I'm pretty sure I left it at my apartment, which I'm not at my apartment right now, so I couldn't find it. Found like every other notebook I'd started and never finished, but not that one. So basically on my bucket list, I have pages of it, and I have things like get a tattoo, things like I'm gonna go everywhere in the world, I'm gonna travel every freaking place you can think of. And I've done a couple things in the past few years. I tried to donate blood, but because I'm 4'11" and I only weigh 115 pounds at my maximum, then you can't really donate blood when you're that small, so I can't donate blood at all, ever. So that was kind of a fail. So I attempted it. I also went to 2 concerts in the last year, Blue October and November, which were both on my bucket list, separately and together. Like, I crossed 3 things out and going to them. Just one of the things that's like totally random, and someday I'm gonna own a blue Corvette. I'm just gonna do it. It just sounds fantastic. Someday. Also, I'm gonna have a doctorate someday too. Just those kind of things. A lot of things on my bucket list. I'm gonna have kids someday. I'm gonna get married someday. I'm going to be able to tell my family my struggles, essentially. I'm going to, yeah, I can't really think of any. I should find that eventually. But I'm working on getting those crossed off, and I'm doing it. Anyway, she also asked, who are your role models? And I'm just gonna say one, because she's the freaking greatest person I've ever met, and I'll probably ever meet. Her name is Grandma. Yeah, my grandma on my mom's side is amazing. She had 2 failed marriages before my grandpa, and then she married my grandpa, and he was the best guy. I'm not even joking. He's like super great, and they were married about 20 years before he died. And she is still, she's as short as me. Like, she's shorter than me, and she's just like awesome. She's so kind. She does everything for everybody. She goes to work every morning and works all day, just like she always has been. And anybody who knows her, they'll be like, your grandma is that person? I'm just like, yes, that's my grandma. She rocks. She's like the greatest person you ever meet in your entire life, and I hope you meet her someday, because she will do anything for you, and she's so smart, and she's been through so much, and she's just the strongest person I know, and I admire her a lot, and she's one of the few people that knows what I've struggled through. And someday I'm probably going to live with her and go to school, so I'm really excited about that. What is my favorite food? Oh my gosh, I cannot answer that, because I could probably tell you more foods that I don't like than I do, because I love food. It's so great. I love any food I make. I make really great food. I just gotta say that if you don't like my food, I don't care, because I like my food. I love chocolate, I love pizza, I love fettuccine, ice cream is amazing. I don't really care for bananas, but they're okay. I don't like fake food, like boxed macaroni and cheese. Like, I'll eat it, but it just, ugh. I would much rather like get in there and be like, okay, we're gonna like mix together butter and cheese and cream cheese and sour cream and cottage cheese and milk and like all this fatty, gross, like beautiful stuff and mix it with spices, and then we're gonna make noodles and we're gonna mix it all together and we're just gonna eat this stuff and it's gonna like ooze down our chin, but it's gonna be so good. Yes, food. Food is great. That's about all I can say about it. I love food, I love cheesy food, I love salty food, I love sweet food. I don't like candy, but I like chocolate. I like a lot of chocolate and a lot of ice cream. And food is great. And then she also asked who was my first crush on. And his name was Adam. I went to 5th grade with him. We hung out on the playground for like a whole 3 months and talked about books, and it's so sweet and totally childish. And then after Christmas break, then he had another girlfriend, kind of. And so, yeah, that's the end of that story. But then another kid after that bought me something when we went on a school trip, and he was kind of cute too. So that was just my 5th grade romance. What is my favorite animal? Frogs. Frogs. Frogs are the greatest. You should totally buy me a frog. Frogs are adorable and cute and squishy, and I could just hug them forever. Even they're so cute. I really like cats too. Frogs. I have a cat. Her name is Amy Martha Donna Rose. Amy Rose Martha Donna. Wow, that's great. I like horses as well, but just frogs. Frogs are lovely. And next we have Noodle Brains, by the way, who is the awesomest Anna you'll ever meet. The awesomest person named Anna. Awesomest person ever. She's pretty great. And she asked some really awesome questions. How many penguins do you think could fit inside a refrigerator? Let me think. Well, emperor penguins are a freaking 4 feet tall. Did you know that? I was talking to my coworker, and she's getting a tattoo of a emperor penguin on her thigh. Oh my gosh. And so they're seriously tall. They're 4 feet tall. They're almost as tall as me. And I think that you could probably fit maybe 3 of me in a fridge. So maybe 4 penguins in a fridge if you did emperor penguins. How if you did the smaller ones that are only as tall as you need, which I don't know what they're called, but you could probably fit, I don't know, 30 or something in a fridge. Consider different varieties of penguins and which makes the best pets. I gotta say, emperor penguins, they're great. They would be tall to me and he'd be dude, this is my penguin, and then pat his head and be oh gosh, it's super cool. But I don't really know how much about varieties of penguins. I know more about frogs. But there's this little penguin, the white one, that's kind of fuzzy and it just has spots and that. These are so cute because there's some that have fur and they pet it. She's oh, you little penguin, I love you so much. Penguins are great. Frogs are better. Anyway, thank you so much, Noodle Brains. I live in San Francisco, passionate nostrils, and pedestrian apocalypse. I hope you were not bored in this 13-minute long video. I tried desperately to speed it up as fast as I could. Lots of questions to get through and lots of rambling to go through. Oh my word, sometimes I talk so much. But thank you so much for the questions. It was so much fun to make a video. If you ever want me to make a video again, just ask more questions. I will be totally, let's make a video. It'll be so much fun. Thank you for helping me procrastinate on my homework, which I didn't really need to do since I'm not doing it tonight anyway because I'm lazy. And also, thank you for helping me kick my brother out of my room because he was totally just sitting down there listening to his iPod because I was writing poetry instead of talking to him. But he's my best friend. Also, this is my room that I live in when I'm not at my apartment. If you would like to see my apartment later on, just ask. Also, if you need any help with personal issues or whatever, my ask box is always open. Please don't hesitate to ask because I listen. I know I've been through crap and I'm ugh. Anyway, I'm here for you. All these people I mentioned probably are there for you too, and I'm there for them. Whatever. We're dude, we be buddies. Love you guys.